Oh yeah.
So the work never stops. It's like if you want to get in shape, what do you got to do? You gotta you gotta exercise. You gotta pay attention to what you put in your mouth. You gotta drink water, get enough sleep. You got to give a shit about certain things. You got to stay on top of them. And
Hmm.
it's not like, oh, I'm in shape now, so I can just stop everything, right? It never stops. So
Right.
it's the same with business. You have to do these things like put out content, communicate with leads,
Hmm.
ask for referrals, get testimonials from clients, blah blah blah, all these things that we've been working on. And it's like when you get what you want and you have more revenue and more clients and a bigger brand and all this other stuff, that stuff still has to keep happening. It never
Right.
stops.
Right.
So it's just part of your day to day from now on.
Right. Yeah. And it's just I can feel it. I can feel the momentum, at least on the content side of things, where I feel like I've got stuff just sitting on the back burner that I could post at any time, as opposed to before. It's like I've got to try to get the ball rolling on what am I going to post, what kind of video am I, and now it's there's always just a little trickle there that I've got something just that I can do
Oh yeah.
repeatedly. So I feel good about that. It's just the DMs have not been producing much this week. I was looking for, it's just going into homework and stuff that we talked about from last week. I was looking for groups. I haven't been real successful with finding any. My experience so far is the ones that I've found just seem to be a bunch of people just like pushing their product and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want to be involved in those. That doesn't seem like that's going to get me anywhere. And then there's been a few where you can see where other people have tried to comment on somebody's complaint, and that didn't go very well. Let's just put it that way, because they didn't want solicitors in this group and that sort of thing. And so I haven't necessarily found any groups. I'm not like saying I'm not going to, but I just haven't had a whole lot of success there. And then the DMs that I've been doing with people that are either liking my posts or starting to follow me, you know, I'm asking the question. So I usually get some pretty good, either I get no feedback whatsoever and they just completely ghost me, or the ones that I'm finding have already been involved with FP, or they're already working with a practitioner and that's how they found my page. And so it's just, I encourage them and I encourage them, if they ever need anything, reach out. But that's kind of where it's gone with the DMs and whatnot lately. So
That's what was happening in the FP groups, you said?
not the FP group per se, but like it's like I haven't really done too many in the doers this last week. It was mostly Instagram followers, or Facebook likes, mostly Instagram. So if I got Instagram people that start to like a post that I make, or they start to follow me, and I'm not sure who they are, I'll try to look at their background. If it looks like they're already a practitioner or looking into it, then I don't really pursue that too much unless they're kind of like a newbie practitioner and they need a more experienced practitioner to work with, because that happens too.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
so trying to play those as best I can, but nothing that has really produced anything at this point. So
Okay. Have you been doing the reels with the hashtags?
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, definitely. I feel good about that. So
Good. That's how you probably
yeah.
getting a lot of the new followers and stuff coming from that.
Yes, yeah. I'm seeing a lot more just new, and I'm starting to get a few that are like local people too, which I wasn't getting before. So
Great.
that's
Great.
good. So I'm trying to contact those folks, but nothing that's really produced anything yet. I'm not saying it won't. It's just not yet.
Mm,
So
mm. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I want to find some groups together to join.
okay.
Um, I mean, how is sales looking? Have you had many sales opportunities that
Um,
about through the normal day-to-day stuff?
so like where I'm at like this week is I've got about two or three new people that are kind of starting up. Like a couple of them, like one of them just started here last week, and so I'm wanting to do. I've got a note for myself mentally, and jotting it down is trying to get some videos of them when I'm training them.
Yeah,
I try not to
great.
do it too. I try not to do that too quickly because I want them to get comfortable
Yeah,
with what we're doing. But when they start showing a little bit of progress, even with a small movement, I want to get a little video so I can post that and tag them and get on their
real.
page and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
reels too. Yeah.
So that's my intention this week with a couple of those folks. So I've got some new ones, and then the other thing that I'm trying to balance here is the work, family, business, life ratios. Because my youngest son is a freshman in high school, and he's got track practice starting next week, which means dad has to pick him up, which means I have less time to see clients after work. So I've got to adjust that schedule. So I don't want to overwhelm myself with a bunch of new people if I can't fit them into my schedule, is a little bit of my problem, at least for the next month or two. So I'm trying to figure out how to maneuver those waters.
Yeah, well, once you start getting, you know, consistent leads from these activities, which is going to happen at some point,
Right. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
then something good you can do is get a co-coach on board, or an understudy, someone to take some of your clients for you.
I don't think I'm there yet. Let's put it that way. I don't
No,
think I'm
no,
busy enough for that.
no, you're not.
And
But
thanks,
but
appreciate it.
but you mentioned getting like overwhelmed. So if you end up getting overwhelmed, that's something to start to think about.
Sure, sure, sure. The other challenge that I have is I am the only practitioner in my area. There's nobody that I can like call on to come in and, hey, could you see this person for me? There's nobody. I mean, within like 3 hours of me, there's no one.
Really? Holy crap.
So yeah, so I'm like, so I've got an untapped market. It's just trying to get the word out, because I'm like, once it's out, I fully expect to not have time to see everybody that wants to see me. I fully expect that. But yeah, just getting the word out right now, and then still trying to find that balance, because he's not driving yet. Next year he should be driving, so therefore he can take himself to track practice, and
Great.
then dad's got more free time. But
Great.
So
Okay. Well, I think it's best to just keep looking for these groups, right, and trying to get some good sources of leads.
yeah, yeah.
So what kind of groups are you joining? What kind of groups have you joined? What kind of categories have you been searching for?
The ones that I was searching for, or at least the ones that I tried joining, and I'm like, this isn't going to work, were like knee pain, back pain, those types of groups. And those seems like everybody's just marketing a product or something like that, or they're in there whining about their problems and they're not really wanting to find a solution. They want somebody that just
Right.
has the quick fix. So I don't know that those are going to produce a lot of great clients. Scott Smith recommended in the client group here for you. You know, he had joined some running groups around his local area. So that might be something. I maybe look into some Wichita local running groups. Not that I go out to join the running group, but I don't know, that I'll have to like figure that out, I guess. So, but that might be something.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was what I was going to say. So local groups that are based around some kind of activity that could stand to benefit from what you do. So it's like peeling back the onion one more layer. It's like we can look at the immediate problem, so pain, but then we can go deeper and look at things people like to do that pain is getting in the way of.
Right.
So
Right.
So you could join, so let's say, a running group or a tennis group or a golf group or a rowing group or whatever. You're not going to do much rowing in Wichita, but I don't know, maybe.
You're right. Well, there's a river, but no.
Yeah. But you get the idea. Like, so think about activities and sports. You know, ideally something that you like to do as well, so you can actually participate in the group as someone who's actually interested in that topic as well. That's even better. So it's like, so you can make a post, hey everyone, I played tennis the other day. Say it's a tennis group and you like tennis, let's say, and you make a post, hey guys, I had a great time playing the other day and I got my best ever score or whatever, or I'm really improving on my backhands, right? Like, how long did it take you to master your backhand or something? Let me know. How long have you guys been playing? You can just make some bullshit random post and people will reply. Right. And that's a great way to that's just a great way to bring more people into your audience with a common interest. And then it's a process. So over time, you got to think about it this way. Everyone who comes into your audience, they're going to start seeing your content over time, right?
Right. Right.
And some of them become clients over time, right? Like some people have been
Right.
watching my videos for like 2 years before they become a client,
Right.
right? But if I never added them to my audience in the first place, they wouldn't even see my videos. So
Mm.
every person you add is important, right? So
Mm.
and it's a scale thing, like a momentum thing, right?
Yeah.
So adding 5 new people to your audience is no big deal, but if you add 5 new people every single day, then after a few months you've added like a couple of hundred people, and then
Sure.
after a year you've added a couple of thousand people, whatever.
Hmm.
Make sense?
Yeah, totally. On that topic and the analogy of weeding the garden, when do
Mm.
you know how to get rid of some of those folks? What do you do?
Well, I mean, it's like if it's obvious that they're not going to buy, you get rid of them. But if they're just kind of
Okay.
some random person in your audience and you've never talked to them before, then instead of getting rid of them, I would talk to them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
there's going to be people who obviously aren't going to buy, like, you know, your grandma's best friend or something,
Hmm.
right? Or whatever. Or
Right. Right.
someone you went to school with and you haven't talked to them in 30 years. You
Yeah.
know, you could get rid of them. Like the most important thing is to get rid of the pending requests, the pending friend requests that haven't been answered. You delete those.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that way Facebook won't block you from adding more people. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, on Instagram, I guess, yeah, if you're following someone and they're not following you back and you've been following them for a while, you can get rid of them. You can
Okay.
unfollow people, right?
Sure.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
And then on the Instagram, yeah, a lot of times there's been several people that either followed me or liked something, and then I met, you click follow them, and then you're waiting for them to, approve or deny. So that's, you know, that hasn't gone anywhere. Let's put it that way. So
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. So yeah, it's just yeah, keep at it, and we've got the things that we started out with, so testimonials, that kind of thing. So think about who you could get those off. I always remind you
Yep.
about that because
Yep. Yep.
that's always the first port of call. And yeah, tagging them so their friends and their people they know see it as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, let's think about some groups. I mean, what kind of activities do you enjoy? Um, is there really anything? Is there stuff you
I'm
enjoy with your
I'm
kids?
yeah, they're older. So I mean, some of the stuff that we used to, so they're older. So I've got a 20-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 15-year-old. So boy, girl, boy.
Yeah,
So the boys we both did scouts with, so we're involved in scouting. Um, so there's some people there that maybe I need to kind of get, but they're done with scouting. One's an Eagle Scout, and the other one kind of lost interest during COVID. Um, so I've been out of the scouting world for about a year or two. So, but there's some people there that I still have acquaintanceships with and sort of friendships with. So maybe I need to start looking into that. I don't know that that's a group per se, like a
probably.
Facebook group or something like that. But um, so that's one.
Well, you could
But
just
yeah,
reach
I
out
don't
to
know.
those
I mean,
people, right? You could just reach out to those
yeah,
contacts.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Just
Just
reach out to some of them.
just say, hey, I hope you've been doing well. I've missed coming to since the kids got older, I've missed coming to scouts. Just wondering how things are holding up for you ever since we
Right,
last kind of spoke, and then you can use the techniques we know to get some problems out of them if they've got them.
right, right, right. Yeah. So there's a few there that I could probably go with. But yeah, groups. I'm so limited on time. I just like as far as me taking time out of my schedule to go play like pickleball. I've got a guy that likes to play pickleball, and so I don't mind playing pickleball, but to find the time to go do that, I don't know when I'm going to fit that in, or if that's really a huge priority for me. So
Yeah,
Because
it's
I go
gonna.
to work,
Yeah,
I go to the gym, I see clients, I come home, I eat, I go to sleep, or I'm trying to do content, and then I repeat the cycle, and that's just my day's events, and then yeah, so pretty dull. Sorry.
no, that's okay, man. And it's gonna come in seasons as well. So the seasons where you're trying to grow and trying to get more clients and generate more leads and stuff, you're gonna be putting more work in. And then as you pick up a lot of clients, you can kind of stabilize and just coast a bit and help them out. And then, it's like the hustle and the flow. There's like two seasons
Hmm.
that kind of
Okay.
alternate, right? Like if you have 50 clients, you're not going to be hustling every day to get more clients,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Right now it's the hustle. It's just a whole lot of hustle to try
Yeah,
to get
that's
this
just
thing off the ground. So then I can have more time to do the things that I want to do. But
yeah, that's just where
it
you're
is
at.
what it is right now.
And what about the
Yeah.
gym? What about the members of the gym that you work at? You've been doing
Yeah.
some promotional stuff with them, and how's that
Yeah.
going?
I've thought about doing just a free workshop or something like on the weekend and just promote it to the people at the gym. Or I was actually thinking about doing that as a post at some point on a live feed, saying, "Hey, whoever's is there, how many people do I have that would be interested in a introduction to functional patterns? We'll do an hour and a half on a Sunday or something like that, where you can come at least get your feet wet, try to learn what is functional patterns all about, and just a free workshop. I know like Frida up in Minnesota, they've been doing that on Sundays periodically, I think quarterly or something like that. But I thought, well, maybe I'll do that just because it's really just trying to get the word out right now. And if I could get more people following and things like whether that's from the gym or whether that's just locally, it's an idea I have, but I don't know.
Yeah, I like that.
As far as people, yeah, as far as people at the gym, I've got one trainer there that I'm training, and my hope, and it didn't dawn on me until after I saw her Saturday, but I've got her this next Saturday where I was training her, and I was like, damn it, I should have taken a video, and then I can tag her and tag the gym because then all of her clients will see me. And again, not trying to steal anything, but at least trying to get them to think different. I know I'm getting her to think different because she's starting to get it, and so I'm hoping I can get her to do more than just 4 sessions with me. But so yeah, but then try
Well,
and tag
yeah.
her.
We'll just ask the questions,
So
man. Ask the questions. Like, can you see how this would be valuable to, you get you like really optimize things, right? So you don't have any of these
mhm,
problems again in the future,
right,
right? And can you see how this is
yeah,
such a broad thing to learn and how we can go into more detail?
hmm,
You know,
right, right. I mean,
awesome.
and she was asking about still training with me while she's training with one of the gym owners because the gym owner says like a 12-week program or something like that. I'm like, at this point, I know there's a lot of FP practitioners that are like, no, just do FP. And I'm like, at this point, if I'm teaching you something, let's go. And if you can apply that to what you're doing, okay, let's go. Ideally, I think she's going to realize that she needs to start changing her routine because it's causing some issues for her. But I'll play the game. So
Yeah, great, man. Great. So you read this book, um, The Courage to Be Disliked.
hmm.
Have you got through it all?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, great. Have you started any of the other ones?
I just started. So once I finished that one, I started the Peterson one. So I just started it yesterday. So just barely into it. Um,
That's a good one,
so
man. That's my favorite.
yeah, those were the top two you said. So I was like, I cranked those two out. The first one was phenomenal. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, 12 Rules is top notch, man. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Good. I just started. I think I'm in like the forward or whatever. I don't know who's the guy's talking about Jordan Peterson about meeting him at a party and whatnot. And so I'm just in the beginning of the prologue or whatever the case may be. Um,
Right, right.
so yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, I mean, you probably thought about it, but yeah, your relationship with your clients is horizontal, right? Not vertical. So
Yes, I mean, that's helped me mentally on so many different levels.
yeah, it takes pressure off you as well because you don't have to be you're not supposed to be this perfect being that everybody is supposed to be like, right?
Right.
You
Yes.
can lead by example, but at the same time, you're helping people on their journey, not yours.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
Right. So you're asking them questions, getting them to think differently, getting them to take responsibility. Right. So you're walking side by side with them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as I was listening to the book, I was starting to apply it with some of the patients that I see in the clinic, some of them that are struggling to just not do the stuff that we ask them to do from physio, just the little exercises to do at home to help. Got one guy that he does his exercises, his back pain goes away, but then he goes home and he doesn't do his exercises and his back pain comes back. I'm like, I'm not here to be your dad and to scold you, but it's at some point, you're going to have to take responsibility for yourself. Like, I know. So, I mean, so the book's just been great. It's helped me even, when I'm thinking about doing a live feed, I'm not saying I'm not still a little bit nervous when I'm doing stuff like that, but I'm less nervous. Let's put it that way.
That's huge, man. That's huge. It can take a lot of courage to go from, not doing that kind of thing to doing it. And,
yeah.
I'm proud of you for doing it, because it's do more of it.
Yeah. I've been trying to, I don't know if you maybe give me your feedback on this. How often, or maybe how often is too often is maybe the question.
I would say once a day is still not too often if you want, right?
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I say pretty much the more the better.
Okay.
Like, I know generally speaking, on average, what I've observed is the more often you go on live, the better the result. As long as the content doesn't suck, it's not just you just talking about nothing. Right. It should
not saying
be.
my content's fantastic yet, but
Yeah, it's good, man. And if you keep keep sticking to those same themes, right? So you just told me, right? This guy's not taking responsibility for his back, and that's like most people. The lesson keeps repeating itself until you learn it. It's like I always say.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. I repeat that to my kids over and over again. Yeah.
So your message should be that same lesson, right?
Yeah.
You got to repeat. Yeah. You got to repeat what needs to be repeated to your audience, because you know who your audience is. You know who you want to be paying attention and to come and work with you. So that's who you're talking to every time you get on camera.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I'd rather see that than like sharing something from Nowdy or something, right? It's better to have your own voice saying your own message.
Yeah.
Right. Because your audience doesn't really care about you sharing stuff from that's really meant for you guys. It's meant for, like say, it's meant for practitioners mostly. And because the average Joe isn't thinking about, like, they're not thinking about gait cycle, and they're not thinking about why deadlifts aren't good, and they're not thinking about this stuff yet. There's average people who are living with pain, so that stuff doesn't mean a whole lot to them, right?
Okay.
So you got to be meeting them where they're at. Think about where are they at, what do they need to hear, right? Yeah. So you use examples of their life and how their pain is affecting their life, and what the problem has been, and how they ended up where they are, from things like not taking responsibility and not thinking properly about the issue, and not getting the right support, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And not believing in themselves.
Right. Yeah, I was going to go with those two this week, but I've got like a sticky pad, because I'll be just going through the day and somebody will say something like, "Son of a gun, that's exactly what I need to talk about."
Yeah, that's going to.
So I'll try to jot it down before I forget, because it'll be brilliant, it'll be genius, and then I'll forget it. So I that stuff down. So at least I've got just this ongoing list of stuff.
There's idea, and the more you read these, you're going to get so many content ideas from these books.
Yeah, just listening to that one, I got someone who's like, "Oh, I need to use that."
Yeah, even the horizontal versus vertical thing, you could tell your audience, hey, like, I'm not here to tell you what to do and to be your boss. right? That's not my job as a coach. My job as a coach is to walk side by side with you and guide you through a journey that you haven't been on before,
Right.
right?
And I
So
just
it's
made a post just like that.
good.
It wasn't alive, but I started writing in there, and that was like that was kind of the main push there towards the end.
yeah,
So
man. That's fantastic. Yeah.
so
And that's the other thing. The more content you put out, the more I can help you refine it and improve it.
okay.
Right. It's like if you generate data, that data can be analyzed. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then that's what you're doing. Way to go. You're doing the work.
Okay.
So you said the DMs aren't going too well. Is that right?
Well, in regards to like, I'm not getting a lot of people responding. I mean, either they're not responding at all. The conversation seems to go fine because I mean, I'll say, hey, brand new that is following me. I'll say, hey, thank you for following. Appreciate the support. Usually just leave it with that. Uh-oh. Still
Oh,
there?
yeah.
Okay.
Obligatory hiccup in connection.
Okay.
So you'll just message and say, "Hey, thanks for following," and leave it at that.
Well, no, no, no. So I say thanks for following. Then I asked them. I said, "Hey, how did you manage to
Oh,
come across my page and my profile?" And
yeah, great.
that's been helping get the conversation going. But unfortunately, at least this week, most of those replies, I mean, they're real positive. Like, "Oh man, I've been doing FP for a little while now, and I've been following you for the last 2 years." And I'm like, "Great, okay." And then I'm like, "Okay, so where are you at in your FP journey? I mean, are you some of them are like starting to become practitioners, or some of them are working with another practitioner. So then it's like, well, crap, I'm not trying to steal anybody. So it's just trying to get a little bit of so that's kind of where the conversations have been at this point, is that most of them are either not responding at all, or they're responding and they've already got some sort of FP background and they're working with somebody. So
Right, right.
I feel comfortable about the conversation and asking the questions and trying to get that going, but I just haven't had a whole lot of fish biting. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Okay. And so you're mostly just messaging. So you're messaging the inbound people who come and follow you based on what you post and stuff.
Correct.
Right. So we can also just start adding more volume to our Instagram activity. I mean, of course, depending on time and things like that, but this is stuff that doesn't take a huge amount of time. It's just more of a pain in the ass. It's more of a chore, and you can kind of do it while you're watching TV or something if you want, or whatever you're doing in the evening.
Okay.
It's something that's super easy to get in there and do just on your phone. And that is, you can start to compile a pool of assets in regards to other Instagram accounts that might have a large amount of the type of people that you want to help, but they're following a bigger account than yours, in a similar field, but selling a different product.
Okay.
So some examples are authors, podcasters, right? Things like that. If there's
Right. We touched on that a little bit last week. So yeah, I
yeah, yeah.
haven't
Yeah.
found too
So
many podcasts or anything. So
yeah, good reminder, right? That's something to do. If you want more
okay.
volume, if you want more volume in the pipeline, more conversations to start and work on, it's a great way to quickly get a ton of them.
Okay.
Do you know any authors who write about kind of pain or like injury or rehabilitation, things like that, who people with an annoying injury might be reading?
Um, I don't know. I mean, not off the top of my head. I mean, in all honesty,
There's probably some that you could
I
you
mean,
know you could
Peterson is probably a well known guy. Jordan Peterson. I was trying to think about that route. Okay, what are some people? I even looked up, to see if there was a group on, Alfred Adler, and Adlerian psychology or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
But I didn't really see much, at least on Facebook or anything on those sort of channels. but I mean, I'm just trying to think of that stuff is very interesting to me, that psychology and philosophy stuff.
Okay, well, so you can find a way to frame things. You can find a way to frame anything, right? If you're good at it. Um, so you could get people from these groups because there's going to be a ton of stoicism groups. There's going to be a ton of philosophy groups. There can be fan pages for these philosophers and these psychologists. And you can reach out to people and ask them about how they got into this stuff and how many books have they read from this guy, and start the conversation off with that common ground.
Sure.
And then many of them might be, so this is the route that I'm thinking. Many of them might be following those guys because of self-development,
Sure.
self-improvement. So then that can open up the pathway of asking about, health and fitness. It's like, have you taken steps to improve your well-being, right? Because it's great to improve your mindset, and it's great to, expand your thinking by getting into some of this work. But another important aspect of self-development is physical improvement, right? Strength and conditioning, or health and well-being, fitness. Have you taken many steps to make those things a part of your life?
Yeah, I see where you're going.
Yeah. So that's how you can kind of turn that in that direction.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
No, I think that's all good stuff. It's just trying to, find the group where I can start striking up the conversation. So
I would do this on Instagram. So I would go to accounts like Peterson or other similar authors or psychologists or philosophers or whatever who have written books and stuff, and you can just follow people from there and message them saying, "Hey, how you going, Nick? Great to be connected. I noticed you follow Jordan Peterson, right?
Right.
Have you ever read 12 Rules for Life?"
Okay.
And then that starts the conversation.
Sure. Okay.
All right. But yeah, the more conversations you start, man, the greater your chances of getting someone on a call.
Okay.
Is that an avenue that you could go down?
I think so. I think it's just, I mean, I'll keep looking for something. Yeah.
Because you
I'm
can
not.
copy and paste that opening message. You can copy and paste it to 20 people a day, and it'll take you 5 minutes.
Right.
Because
Which
you
is
can
kind of
go
what
in.
I've been doing with which is kind of what I've been doing with the DMs anyway. If somebody
Yeah.
likes and follows, it's like, okay, I'm just going to cycle through as many of these people that I don't know, that aren't,
Yeah.
that I'm not following. So if I'm not following you, then obviously they're probably not an FP practitioner.
Yeah, that's pretty much just when you're in this hustle stage and you're still trying to, you got to try things until you find something that sticks, right?
Right.
For your particular brand and your particular audience.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you just make sure to exhaust all the options, and give it enough volume so that you know that it's gonna be optimal or not, right? It's gonna be viable or not.
Sure.
Yeah, but I mean, at the very foundation, it's always a matter of leveraging who you've got. So leveraging testimonials and referrals, looking at the people in real life, looking at the gym you work within and how you can work with them to get more traffic. So that's always the most important. But then when you start to go outside of that, it's like, okay, where are all the places that I could hunt, and what kind of volume do I need to throw at it for it to give a return?
Okay. Yeah, I'm just brainstorming ideas on groups right now. So I think that's probably where I need to go for at least a little bit of punting and to try to get a little more outreach.
Yeah, so you've gone to pain groups mainly. So you could try the pickleball thing. You could try pickleball groups, right? Like local ones.
Mm-hmm.
Start the conversation about that. Like ask some kind of question. how long have you been playing or whatever? How'd you get into it?
Right.
And then go
Right.
from there and ask about injuries and stuff like that. Once
Sure.
you've talked a little bit about the sport, easy, man.
Mhm.
um, and yeah, keep the content coming. Like, yeah, make it quick and easy. So live is good, one and done. In the car, in the
Yeah.
parking lot, when you're about to start with your clients, or when you finished work, about to drive home, just whip out your phone, quick live, 10 minutes,
Yep.
make it a
That
habit.
seems to be, yeah, that seems to be working. Like I'll finish up with clients at the gym and then I'll just do a little quick something, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I mean, have you asked, are you asking your clients to send you more people?
I am. Maybe I need to figure out a better way to do that. I don't know. I mean, I've like,
How are you
who was
doing
it
it
the other
now?
day? Um, Usually just like, okay, well, maybe not. I'm probably not asking directly, like, hey, who do you know? Like, to where they have to give me an answer. I think I used that the other day, and they're like, "Oh man, anybody could use this stuff." And I'm like, "Okay, so send them my way." It's kind of how I generally end that, but I probably need to say, "Okay, like who?" I probably need to just go straight there. It's like, "Okay, who are you thinking of?" It's like this gal at the gym. Actually, that was the last one that I did, but so I trained her Saturday, and she was really just very thankful and learned a lot. And um, I was trying to nudge her in the direction. I was like, "Can you see how this training is beneficial and alleviates your shoulder pain that you're telling me about?" Yeah, yeah, okay. So you think that maybe you need to think about how you train and the importance of why you do what you do. Yeah, totally. I was like, okay, can you think of anybody else that might benefit from stuff like that? She says, oh yeah. And she started rattling off about her husband, and stuff that he's dealing with, and he's going to physical therapy right now, but she's not really sure that that's helping him. So she's like, I'm sure you could probably help him better. I'm like, okay, yes. So that's kind of where it ends. So then it's like, okay, well, do I need to like pursue that a little further, more aggressively, where it's like, okay, well, what's his number? I'll give him a call.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay. So I just
Yeah.
need to take that extra step of assertiveness.
Yeah, and I would just frame it with some kind of compliment. So hey,
Okay.
we've been working together for this long and you've seen this kinds of changes, right? And it's really exciting to see you finally make this problem a thing of the past and finally start to feel what it's like to live without pain,
Hmm.
right? And if I had, as a practitioner, if I had more clients with your same work ethic and your same attitude, that would make me really happy. So do you know anyone who you feel like might be going through something similar to your shoulder, right, who could use this kind of help?
Right.
Yeah. Would you mind
And I
passing
guess,
on their details?
yeah, okay. And I guess that's probably where I'm dropping the ball is I'll ask that question. They'll say, oh, yeah, definitely. I'm like, and then I usually say something like, well, send them my way. And then that still leaves it in their hands. And I probably need to, okay, can I get their number? Can I get their name? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Can I, contact them that way?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I
Even just
probably
getting
need
their
to,
social media, that's fine as well because you can reach out to them and you know how to start it off without being awkward.
yeah, it's like, hey, I was working with Shanae the other day, and she told me that you were dealing with some issues, and I thought I'd just reach out and see if there's anything I can do to help, kind of a thing. So,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
um, okay, I need to do better at that then.
yeah, yeah,
So I think I could leverage that. I think if I did assuming I get some positive feedback, if I make a little live post on just doing a free session just for anybody that wants to just come, then we'll do stuff and then post the gym on that, and then maybe get some of the trainers there too. Because I know there's been not just her, but a couple of the other trainers are kind of starting to follow me and like my post, but they don't know anything about FP, so
mm. Well, you got to make sure everyone knows about it.
yeah, that's probably that's a tough thing. I don't. Do you have this problem with other FP practitioners in regards to like
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, dude. It's all the time. I mean, you're
like specifically because like it's like FP goes against the status quo of back squats, deadlifts, and all the stuff that these other trainers are doing and teaching their clients, and trying to find that balance of
mm,
not pissing anybody off, but
mm,
trying to get them to at least look at this and frame it a little bit differently, where they look at, okay, you see what you've been, she was doing bench press and her shoulders killing her. I'm like, why do you do the bench press? Well, because it's working my pecs. Okay, are there other exercises that could work your pecs? Yes. Okay. And trying to get her to think a little bit. I'm like, so it's one on one. I do pretty well with that, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I frame that in a way that I'm not ticking anyone off. I'm not, stealing stuff, but trying to get them to think about how they train and that there could be a better way, if that makes sense. I
yeah.
don't know, Nowdy and a lot of the FP practitioners are just, they post stuff, they're bashing on deadlifts and things like that. And uh, I don't know if any of this, I'm kind of rambling now, but you
No,
see
I'm
the
listening, man.
dilemma I have. It's
Yeah,
like I don't want to tick off the two gals that own the gym, one who teaches, regular boot camp type classes, where the people that are in there, I watch it and it just makes me cringe, because these people are doing movements that they should not be doing. They are not ready for it. They're just destroying themselves. But I don't want to destroy her and her livelihood with what she's doing. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So
So let me think about this.
that's my dilemma. That is my dilemma.
Okay, so here's how I would approach. You got to approach it with a positive, right?
Right.
So you got to it's like give props that they're taking steps to improve their strength and fitness, right? Give them props. It's not easy to make exercise part of your life if you're not used to it and if you don't know what you're doing, right? But so it's a big deal to have the courage to decide to make time in your life for a bit of self care. So you got to encourage them instead of discouraging them.
Okay.
Hey, so it's great to see that you're making time for exercise, right? Um, and then you can think about, um, have you thought about whether or not there might be a more optimal way to train that supports your individual needs?
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, a
I mean,
question:
it's got to be. Yeah.
have you thought
Right.
about
Right.
it?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because I know there's interest there, but it's like, and you've done great at trying to get me out of, being the crazy guy in the back room that nobody really knows and does weird stuff. Um, and so I don't know. It's a weird thing, because now, and I'm not bashing on Nowdy, but Nowdy's, he really pushes, hey, we don't mix the two. You're NFP or you know, and he really
yeah,
pushes that with all the practitioners. He doesn't want to see a bunch of this cross training stuff going on, and it's been a difficult challenge for me, because trying to like the posts of the gym owners who are doing things that aren't the FP way potentially gets me in trouble with FP. Does
mm,
has
yeah.
anybody
It's
had this conversation with you about this?
yeah, it's annoying,
Okay,
right?
all right, okay. So it's trying to find that balance, because I see Nowdy's point of view, because I used to do traditional stuff and I think FP is the better way. I just it I th- I'm bought in on that. But at the same point, you know, I can't yuck their yum when it's their livelihood. So it's trying to gently, hey, come on over here, apply what you know, and let's start adding what you don't know, so you can actually mesh
Yeah,
all of this.
and also like, I mean, I have a background in training as well, and
Right.
I don't think I would say that it's I don't think I would say it's better to do nothing than to deadlift, right? For example,
Hmm.
So it's like, and this kind of comes back to my point from a few minutes ago. It's like, hey, at least you're doing some exercise, right?
Sure.
So I just feel like some kind of exercise is better than no exercise. But then there's what's the optimal exercise?
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's like a spectrum.
Yeah. I would agree to that, you know?
Um, so I think if you approach it from that kind of logic, it can make sense to people and not piss them off too much.
Okay. I think I know what I need to do. It's just doing it, you know, and trying to be tactful. Which I think I can do that, but
If
it's really just trying to.
FP, look, man, like if like let's be real. You work in a gym. You work. Your office is located inside of a gym facility, and they sell their services and they practice a certain type of training. It's diplomatic for you to support them and to have a good relationship with them.
Right.
So I don't think it's reasonable for FP to expect you to, be a hermit and because I love what you guys do. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that FP says about business, right?
Hmm.
Like, because I've been watching a lot of stuff that you guys share, so I've heard Nowdy speak a fair bit, and something he says, "Oh, if you're a good practitioner, people will come to you." Bullshit, right?
That's what I'm
Maybe,
experiencing.
right? It's not fucking true. You have to know how to get along with people. You can't just piss everyone off and expect to have a good business. Sorry,
Right. Right.
right? It's
Right.
like it's important to not have everyone hate you. It's fucking important. So don't be an asshole. It's
Right.
common sense, right? But at least it
Yeah.
should be. But in one of the clips I saw from Nowdy, he kind of makes it sound like it's okay to be an asshole and piss everyone off because FP's better and too bad. It's like, well, good luck getting people, you know, good luck getting as many leads as you could otherwise if you weren't being a dick.
Right.
Right? People don't care
Yeah.
how much you know. This is a classic,
Right. Until they know how much you care.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is a classic use of that phrase.
Yeah.
Classic
Yeah.
example
Okay.
of where that needs to be applied.
Yeah.
Rule. That's my number one rule. I mean, I say this a lot, but that's one of my number one rules for business. Right?
Yeah.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I speak from experience. I was a hardcore Poliquin guy. Remember Charles Poliquin? I was
No, but go ahead.
well, Charles Poliquin was like one of the most famous strength coaches ever. He coached like
Okay.
20 something Olympic gold medalists over his career, and he developed all these modalities for trainers, like a caliper test called biosignature, and a program design course called PICP, and all these other things. But yeah, Charles Poliquin. He was this French Canadian guy, and he was really like no bullshit, kind of, no bullshit, and this is what this person has to do, and if it's too hard for them, too bad, kind of like with their nutrition and stuff. Like,
Hmm.
this person needs to stop eating this stuff and straight away eat all this stuff instead. And I just found that it didn't work. Like I wasn't able to get like I had all the knowledge. I knew, hey, if this person eats like this and trains like this, they're going to get their result, and that is true. But it was nearly impossible to get anyone to actually follow the instructions and do what I told them, because number one, I was trying to be in a vertical relationship with my clients instead of horizontal. It's my first mistake.
Yeah.
And secondly, I
Yeah.
wasn't thinking about it from their perspective, right? I was 22 years old and 8% body fat and deadlifting 400 pounds, and these people are just fucking parents with kids who are just trying to work their 9 to 5 and pay the bills, and
Mm-hmm.
their doctor told them that they're a bit too fat, and here I am trying to get them to do advanced nutrition protocols and all these technical programs that take 2 hours a day of training. And I was like, I don't get it. I was like, I don't get it. These programs are the best in the world. Why aren't these people doing? And I just wasn't thinking about it the right way. I was missing all the basics when it comes to the business side of things, actually remembering that I'm dealing with human beings, I'm not dealing with robots. And like, just because I care about training and just because I have all the knowledge doesn't mean that they care as much as I do, right? So I have to dumb it down and make it easier. I have to make it so that they'll actually do it, right? So less is more. Less is more when it comes to getting someone to start doing something, right? And so, yeah, so I've been through this whole rigmarole. For years I went through this, and that's how I learned. I learned by banging my head against the wall enough times. So when I hear someone say, "Oh, if you're just a good practitioner, people will come to you and fuck what anyone says, and deadlift's stupid and yoga is stupid and everything's stupid," all you're doing is pissing people off and segregating yourself, right? And you'll get certain people who will follow you, people who agree with you maybe, and you'll form a cult. It's a cult. You're not appearing as someone who's happy to help and wants to attract people to solve a problem for them. You become a cult who's just attracting people who think the same way as you.
Right.
So that's the problem with that whole dynamic.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, that's my ramble.
No, I appreciate this. This is the dilemma, because my personality is one that I don't, my deep down, I'm an introvert. I don't want conflict. I don't want, so I'm not trying to ruffle anybody's feather. I'm just trying to help is really what it boils down to.
Right. Well, so you should. That's the point. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just
yeah,
it's just trying to do that. And then, there's this small part of me, which I need to get over is really the issue. And maybe I don't know if this is really a vertical relationship or not, but, thinking about, okay, I finally kind of got this, what I feel is like this golden egg, being the one practitioner in this region that there's no one around. So it's like, this thing's going to continue to grow and take off is what I feel. And so therefore, okay, I'm kind of the guy it's like, it's like ground floor kind of a thing, it's like, it feels good to be in that position. And so you kind of want to almost hold on to that and not share all of the knowledge, even though that's really what I need to be doing, is to share the knowledge and to get out there and talk to anybody and who's willing to listen. But there's this, and maybe the FP Nowdy way has kind of put that in my head where it's like, well, don't give all of the info to your PT buddies, because then the PT staff will know it and then they're going to use it. And now you're not the only guy that has the info, if that makes sense. But then
it does.
This is the mental game that I play with myself. Does that make sense?
It does. Do you want to hear my rebuttal for that?
Yes. Not necessarily a rebuttal, but no, just give it to me.
Yeah. So the info is just one variable. There's a lot of other variables. There's a lot of other, let's say, there's a lot of other dynamics that make what you do as a coach valuable, right? So the information isn't what you're selling. The information is the tool you'll use. It's one of your tools that you use to get results. So what you're doing as a coach is, again, you're guiding and supporting and encouraging someone to change their life. The information that you're using to help them, that's just one piece of the big picture, right? So you can give everyone all the information, but it doesn't mean that their clients are going to get results. Whether or not your clients get results, and this goes back to my Poliquin story I just told, right? Because this was, again, the same thing. It's like, I have all the best information. Why aren't my clients getting results?
Right.
Yeah. I wasn't looking at my clients as human beings and meeting them where they're at and understanding what their perspective is like and what their experience of the world is like and how they're thinking about themselves and how they're thinking about the world. So if you focus on that, you'll be a better coach. You'll get better results. People will respect you more and all the rest of it, right?
Right.
So, yeah, the information is not the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is getting people to change. Right? It's like you said before, that guy, he has a bad back. He comes in, he does a workout, he goes away, he does nothing. His back still hurts because he's not changing. right? Helping people actually change, that's what's going to get results. And that's what you do through content, through the way you speak to people, the questions you ask, helping people
Okay.
feel supported, helping people feel comfortable, helping people make decisions and actually commit to things, helping people take responsibility. That's what coaching is, right?
Yep.
So we can delve deeper into that, but hopefully that helps you to think a bit differently, so maybe you feel better about some of this stuff.
Yeah, no, this is a good conversation. I appreciate it. At least I was able to get some of that off my chest.
That's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so couple things. So we're gonna wrap this up now.
Yep. Go ahead.
So next week will be our 12th call. Right.
Okay.
Are you feeling like this is something valuable for you to keep on doing?
Well, I guess then this is a good question, because yes, it's valuable. I really appreciate these conversations. My question is where does it go from here? You know what I mean? Because you're definitely content. I feel like I've got a pretty good grasp of what to do, and I feel, and tell me if I'm thinking about this wrong, but I feel like it's going to take just some time and some traction just to kind of keep the process going and the ball rolling before, I start getting more clients. So I don't know whether to, is it beneficial to take a break and work on some of those things and then reconnect again, or
Well,
does
I
that make any
mean,
sense?
I think the main thing is about the accountability is a big part of it. The accountability of meeting
Sure.
once a week. Me being able to, yeah, I know. Me being able to give feedback and points for improvement, right? And then the strategy aspect of, depending on where things are at each week, what to focus on.
Right.
Because as you know, the weeks go by very quickly, right?
Yes.
So it's about just knowing what to focus on, having that accountability. And as things pick up and start to boom, which they could do at any time, depending on how many people reply, how many sales calls you get booked, all these kinds of things. There's going to be a need to scale. There's going to be a need to have someone maybe handle the DM aspect for you, booking sales calls for you, that kind of thing, like I've set up with Michael. So there's a few different things to think about. But yeah, just something to think about between now and next week. It's totally up to you.
Yeah, it's been on my mind because it's one of those, I enjoy our conversations, and it is good to keep me accountable and have somebody to support. But at the same point, I'm wondering, well, where does this go? And
yeah,
I feel like
for what it's worth, the calls will be worth doing, right? So it's not like the calls aren't valuable, and it's not like they'll stop being valuable.
No, agreed.
So that's an important thing to keep in mind as well.
Okay.
All right. Well, in any case, I'll catch up with you during the week. We can talk a little bit more about this back and forth during the week. But
sounds good.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. And
yeah, appreciate it.
And I'll see you then, bro.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, man.
Take care.